right, what's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. It is the Cup Chasers podcast. It's been a wonderful semifinal weekend in the FA Cup. City out for yet another stroll in the sunshine, while Brighton have taken United all the way to penalties. And if you like the results, or if you don't, smash the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and get that notification bell on. All right, Lewis, through to the final. We kind of knew it was going to happen, but Riyad Mahrez decided it was the Mahrez show.
You know, a thing that was funny is I remember it was either the last podcast or two podcasts ago. I made a comment about the subs coming on and them not knowing what to do in the space because just the style that they were playing in was counter to what City normally does. And in the lineup, Pep played a lot of those guys. And in playing those guys, they looked worlds better. And it's literally because they were playing an attacking game. They were playing their game. And it's funny because you look at that and the guys who are trying to get playing time played like they were trying to get playing time. And they know for sure that they're auditioning for the final. Because, you know, every game before the final, it's fine to run the B unit, right? The 1B, because they're both ones. It's just 1A, 1B. To run the B unit. And that B unit is making the case to play because in the final, which is the FA Cup final is the weekend after the end of the league. Is that right?
June 3rd.
Yeah, it's the weekend after. And then you got the Champions League, which is the week after that. I think the Champions League final is the weekend after that.
The Champions League final is normally the very last game of all European.
Right. So I think it's the week because that means the league ends on the Sunday. That means the following Saturday would be the FA Cup final. So the Champions League would have to be the next week. So it would be
it's June 10th.
Yeah, so it's 2 weeks. Right.
Okay, there you go.
So, now, if that's the case, right? If we're pie in the sky, and I'm sure these guys are pie in the sky because everybody's playing pretty well, then what case do you have to play in the FA Cup final if you're able to knock off the first thing at the end of the league? The next game is literally a week later, and what is their reason to rotate? There's no reason to rotate the team at that point. And then if, again, you're able to do what you need to do to play that next week as well, there's zero reason to rotate. Like, there's no reason to rotate. If
the only chance of rotation is if Arsenal completely capitulate and y'all win the league before the last day.
Right. And so you're looking at it, and those guys are auditioning. So at a minimum, they can play in the FA Cup final. Because they know the Champions League is pretty set. So they're auditioning to play in the Champions League final. Like, for example, the keeper, Ortega, is going to start that game. That's the only guy that you know for sure is going to be out. I mean, that's in the B team. That's going to start that game. Outside of that, I mean, why would Pep run anybody else in there? So you look at that, and that was an audition. And then Pep had an interview and said, Riyad Mahrez tells me when he's mad about not getting playing time, which I respect. And I think that's good because Mahrez is good. But the issue is sometimes his work rate is less than good. And if you compare his work rate to Grealish, even though Grealish drives me batty, no one ever questions his work rate. Ever. Right. Like, he dogs it on the field. He's
that's why Silva is ahead of Mahrez in the Champions League.
And that's what I'm saying. So you got Silva, you got Grealish. I mean, realistically, and I'm not knocking him. Even Foden has been injured, but Foden will probably be there. Alvarez's work rate. Mahrez has like 4 legitimate guys that he would have to like dog past. And so he has to show absolute form in order to play.
And he did.
And Mahrez And Mahrez would start on all 19 other teams. All 19 other teams would take him in a heartbeat.
We'd take him. I don't know if he starts.
You trying to say Mars wouldn't start in Arsenal?
Bro,
Who's he going to sit?
Bro, Martinelli has 15 goals.
Yeah,
Saka
Martinelli
has
and Saka
24
are set.
moments.
Wait a minute, because I'm not even in recency bias. You know Riyad Mahrez is the guy who won Player of the Year at Leicester, that dragged that team and scored a bunch of goals. There's
Right
no
now-
way.
Conte dragged that team. Let's not.
Are we really going to ignore what Mahrez did for the Leicester team? I know that's not what we're going to do.
We're not ignoring it, but you said it before we started. That was 7 years ago, man. What are you
I
doing
agree,
right
but
now?
here's the thing: that if Mahrez had consistent playing time like he did at Leicester, he already shows you what he does. Mahrez has the third most goals on the Manchester City team, and he would have more if Haaland wouldn't be on there. And the year before that, Mahrez was good. So I'm not going to ancient history. I'm going to recent history. Mahrez would probably start on every other team. And I mean, you can say Martinelli, and that's fine. But I'm gonna say this: if Arteta was able to bring Mahrez with him to Arsenal, I'm telling you, he starts him. I'm telling you, he starts him. He's a champion. He would have been a champion in two places, and you don't start him. Come on. And he's played with Jesus.
I hear you.
Come on, man. But I hear you. And I'm not taking anything away from your guys because I think those guys are solid, and there's the argument to that. But it's how, what do you do? I mean, so they did what they were supposed to do. Sergio Gomez actually looked like a decent player when he started. He wasn't lost. Everyone has now come to the understanding he's a midfielder, not a left back. I mean, he's not a midfielder. He doesn't know how to defend. And everybody else did what they were supposed to do. Gundogan can play holding midfielder against a team that's a level below him, and they're fine. And Alvarez has a dog inside of him because he's insane when he plays. And Laporte is literally just fine if Ake isn't there. So they did what they were supposed to do. You know, I mean, no one. That's part of the reason why the stands weren't full, even though they said it was corporate. And it was funny because when I watched the game on ESPN, the lady who does the some of the sideline stuff is a Manchester United fan. And she said something specifically in today's game. She's like, yeah, you know, the stadium's full today. You won't bring that one up today. That's fine.
It wasn't, though. It
But
wasn't.
that's what she said. That's what she said. Well, she made sure she said it was more full today than it was yesterday.
It's like you said, the ESPN loves United. It's all about that, the TV deities, as you say.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm happy they made it to the final. I had a few. I would have. I mean, I'm being honest. I think Brighton is a better team, and I think it would have been a better game with Brighton. I mean, sort of like play wise, but I mean, it's gonna still be a good game against United.
Of course,
it's still gonna be a good game. It didn't matter.
I mean, I agree that it would have been a better game had Brighton been able to win. And I honestly think, I mean, it's a good trend. You know, segues are weird, but I think that Brighton were the better team today. They just couldn't finish. Just no one was. Not to say that United were lethal in front of goal because they had the same issue. You know, neither team could score goals today. You know, and the penalty shootout was immaculate until the last one. You know, all but the last shot were pretty good penalties. You know, and so I agree completely. Brighton would have been a better team. Credit to Sheffield for, you know, getting a couple of opportunities. You know, not lying down, but yeah, man, if United play like that though, because that's twice in 4 days where Eriksen and Casemiro have been very poor at the same time. And like I say, against a team who is lethal, who does finish, look out.
Yep. And can run.
Even though, I mean, will the referees be there like the ones that were in Old Trafford for that game? Because they don't win that game without the referee.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest. Oh, you muted Patrick.
You're muted, Patrick. Can't hear you.
Oh, for the FA Cup final, you're supposed to get the best of the best.
Yeah, don't Old Trafford refs are the best of the
best.
best.
Yeah, exactly.
And as an aside, again, pie in the sky. I'm just saying because this is the first week, and we talked about this, and I mentioned this, I think a week ago. No one was talking about the treble with City. They weren't. Now they're talking about it. And now that they're talking about it, I mean, you already know the FA hates City or whoever they hate. So, I mean, if City is able to pull out the league and the FA Cup is following that, and they make it to the Champions League final, you don't think there might not be a little salt in there to make sure that all three of those trophies don't end up blue? I'm just saying, I feel like it'll be a little salt there.
I mean, look, you can all the pundits can say what they want, all the narratives and all this and that, but United are a far cry from what City are this season. And yes, I know it'll be at the end of the season and a week on from the actual end, and there won't be any other games, and it's kind of like a one-off. That for me makes it even worse. Because like you say, Lewis, you got a week until the Champions League final, assuming you're there. So yeah, it's just gonna be, plus it's your rivals, and it's the first ever Manchester derby in an FA Cup final.
Really?
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that as
That
With
well.
was
142
shocked,
years they've been playing, and this is the
Holy
first
cow.
Yeah.
Manchester,
For the longest time, I thought Wayne Rooney's bicycle kick was an FA Cup
No, it was
final,
a semi. That was a
but
semi.
it was a semi. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be incredible. But honestly, I agree. I would have preferred Brighton. It would have been a much better game.
yeah.
And all this, we are united, we're different, the history of the club, we go and we attack teams and we wreck teams. They were set up to counter, to defend and counter today.
Brighton's better than them, man.
Like any good mid-table team, afraid of their opponent, they sat up to defend, and they gave Brighton the ball. Not that Brighton wouldn't have had the ball anyway, because Moises Caicedo wrecked them in there, destroyed them in there.
A friend of mine is a United fan. He said something in text because he has issue with the Glazers, which I can understand. And he said something about De Gea because he has issues with De Gea too. Because I asked him a question. I think I sent it to you guys too. I said, "Is De Gea the only keeper at United?" Because I swear most teams have a cup keeper, and I know they got more than one. And after the stink De Gea just had, why would you stick him between the sticks?
Yeah, for
But you know
real.
what? It is what it is. But the funny thing is, he said De Gea hasn't saved a penalty in 5 years. 5 years.
Do you remember the one recently where the penalties, United players scored 10 straight penalties, and De Gea got 11 scored on him straight, and then De Gea come up to take the last one and missed it.
I remember that.
You remember what I'm talking about? That was glorious.
I remember
He's not good on penalties. But I think it's Jack Butland is who the other keeper is.
Is he completely washed up now? Because he was once in the England national team, so I'm trying to understand what the deal is. Does he play? Because when could he possibly play? Because he didn't play in Europa League. He clearly hasn't played in the FA Cup. So when is he
injured?
And if I'm Butland and I'm seeing the stinkers De Gea is putting out there, why would I even want to be on this team?
He was decent today in regulation.
You're right.
Yeah, that's fair. I thought De Gea was okay. He made a couple of important saves.
He was good. He was good today.
Yeah. But it's not hard to improve on Thursday. So
Toma absolutely cleared his ass out though.
Great. Oh, great.
I'm surprised Matoma wasn't sent off, honestly.
Yeah. So do we think it's anything other than a City win?
I'm being honest. Whenever City play United, I never know what the result is. I don't assume victory against them ever, because there's still something there.
Yeah.
Come on.
It is a rivalry, so
because, like, for example, remember when City played Spurs, and I told you before that City game, I'm like, they haven't beat Spurs at home in like 4 years, and then they lost to them. The Spurs team that got waxed. I mean, they got completely wrecked. That Spurs team beat City.
I took encouragement from that today. I was like, this shambolic team actually beat City this season, but I don't see it happen. I mean, think about it this way. It took a refereeing decision to sway it at Old Trafford, and you won, what was it, 6-1 at the Etihad this season? 6-3? It was a double hattie from Holland and Foden, and y'all only gave up 3 goals because you quit playing when you were up 6 goals?
Yes, that is
You
a lot.
know, so I don't. And United have given. So they gave 6 to you guys. They gave 7 to Anfield, 3 to Sevilla. You know that they're capable of just shipping mad goals. Plus Martinez and Varane out. Yeah,
And
if it's.
Lindelof looked like he was having a hamstring issue today.
I saw that. Yeah. So I mean,
He
it
pulled
could
up
be
like a couple times, and they just
Wait,
get.
Luke Shaw could
does
be in
that
the
mean
center
Harry
back.
Maguire will be the starting center half? Okay, then I might have. If Harry Maguire starts that game, then I'll pick City for sure.
you win.
Absolutely, no question.
He'll
The
score
only,
2 on
the only
himself.
question is how many Manchester City goals will Harry Maguire score?
2. You
Yeah.
scored 2.
Well, if you think that Man City are a shoe-in for the FA Cup, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and get that notification bell on. We'll be back real soon.